exchange between those of us here in the diaspora and those at home? Is it important?
Thank you very much, Madam Coordinator, for giving me the opportunity to talk today in this forum. What I witnessed this morning from the presenters before us, I came to the conclusion that we are blessed. We have wonderful guys amongst us who are talented in so many fields, particularly fields that are very, very important nowadays. And if you ask me the question if it is important for us in the diaspora to have this knowledge and skill exchange with our fellow countrymen back at home, I will give you an applaudable answer, which should be yes. Because listening to my humble gentleman and the engineer out there, I came to the conclusion vividly that there is no way these gentlemen can go with what they have if we cannot collaborate with our members, our family members, our tribe members, our town, fellow countrymen back at home to give back this knowledge that they have. So my answer to your question is, it is very, very important and is vital, and we should support it so that there should be this skill and knowledge exchange between the diaspora and back home.
Reverend Nsoland. So the question you have, you can take any part of the question. Do you think it's important? How can we do it? When do you think we can do it? So it's open.
I think, in my view, looking at everything else and experiencing it, experience is always the best teacher. And if you ask me, is exchange of skills important? I was one person that will stay quiet. It is important. Can we do it? It's a different thing. And what are your experiences of doing it in whatever field you've tried and seen it? I have a big question mark. Not with everything, but with some things. And I have a situation where I feel it is important, but it's not every little thing that you go with that is important. Exchange of the skills, pick a particular thing that you would have to focus on. But what the experience that I have, or the experience that I find, is we of the diaspora picking up something, being so passionate about it, and having our ideas of how we're going to implement it, and then getting back home and thinking this is the way we have to do it, and this is the way we must do it, and before you know it, all the money is finished before you even pick a foundation for it. And to me, is it important? Yes, but it has to be important in a way where they give, people back home give, and you come to a compromise at the middle with all the checks and balances in place. If all the checks and balances are in place, yes, all skills are good, all skills can be also interchanged. But I will be the one that will hold back to say, I don't think it suits in every field. And I also think the key to it is not that the diaspora actually brings it. The key to it is not that the diaspora actually brings it. Because what I find is that people from the diaspora go back home with all these massive ideas, and it's as if they have to give something, as opposed to forgetting that when you leave home, you lost a lot, and you also have to be given something to bring back to this side. Yes, the changes of skills are good, but let it not be that we are the givers and those back home are the receivers. We have to also be receptive so that the ideas that those back home have can also teach us a lesson. Put it this way, when I left I came to the UK, more than 20 years ago, and my first time back home was like, I will never pay a bribe to any police officer. And by the time I got Amanda and shouting, I got held. All my books were in place, but just the fact that my tax list was not on the windscreen He said, ER motive. I refused to pay the bribe. I was taken to the police station. At the police station, I ended up spending 2 hours. At the end of the time, I paid for their drinks, paid for everything. I still paid the price. Because I had this idea that I've learned how to be just and I'm going to implement the justice that they have to learn a lesson from me. You can't. And my lesson from them was just to also live the reality that they live in and know that if you are wrong, this way you are. If you beat this in Cameroon, this way you will stand. It's a give and take kind of situation. And so it's not a straightforward answer, but I still think interchanging, yes, as it is, as face value, is good. But you have to pick your battles and also be receptive that you don't have, it's not you that hold all the keys to it.
Let's listen to Yaya, please.
Can I stand up?
Yes, you can.
Okay. I'm only standing up because I get my words out better when I'm up. I'll go both ways. I'll say yes and no. I'm just putting it in context. When you exchange knowledge, you build a strong community, you empower everybody. You empower the person and you teach them how to empower others. So as he says, it's a give and take affair. But there is one thing I'm going to talk which was not on your list. I can't really answer all your questions as you put on your list. I want to talk about how we go about that. When we talk about knowledge sharing, the first thing that comes to mind is you go somewhere and you teach somebody how to do something. I come here and I say, oh, okay, I'm going to teach you how to analyze data, and I start telling you all about what I do and all that. That's rubbish to me. The first thing that we have to do, that I have learned here, sitting here, listening to our brother Eric and to Barton, you need to listen. They've talked about communication, they've talked about everything here, and there was that bit of listening, but the word listen never really came out. That is the key to me. And you listen with your ears, you listen with your eyes, you listen with you listen by observing. You see how they're doing it. You listen to what they've got to say. Why are we doing it like this? Barton looked at them and said, why do you all switch it off when you make a call? And then you put your knowledge in perspective. You put it in context and you deliver. When you deliver, you will get more out of it. Barton has created all that. And he's taught them, look, you do it like this, you do it. And I believe the next thing that's going to come after, or what he's already got is, so how do I make my own? How, do I carry it forward? How do I become your agent? You see. Our brother Eric here has gone back, found those who've impacted on our community by building schools and things, and he said, look, listen, this is us, this is our people, this is what they did. We can do it. Let's just teach our kids how to use computers, and let's get our schools, tech high. Let's do it. And that is it. We need to listen. Knowledge sharing is not about telling people what to do. No. We put it in perspective, and that's why I come with the no aspect of it. Because if the people who are there do not have the potential to learn what you know, there is no point. There is no point. But you need to find what they actually need, what's important to them, what makes them tick, and help them in that line and to know better how they can do it better and how they can. They're happier than me and you. They don't know any different. So you teaching them, going to tell a palm wine tapper in Jakiri that we can do your palm wine on the tap. You can put it here and put it in this machine. How sustainable is that? When the part of the machine is not there, how is it going to do it? It doesn't suffice. We need to find something else. You see, I haven't done it myself, and I won't stand here and say, but I have learned. I'm one of those who have benefited from knowledge sharing, which has been put in context, in perspective, what I know. And one thing is not only sharing the knowledge, but teaching that person as well how to pass it on. All what we've heard here today, if we go home and keep it to ourselves, or we go home and buy a lamp or for our grandmas and sit down quietly, we need to tell our friends. We are and we want to empower our community and want to develop our community, but I'm sure if we tell it to somebody else, if we tell somebody else, and it helps them one way or the other, it makes us happy. You see, so that's where I'm coming from how we do it, the processes. If it's not relevant, please don't do it. If it is relevant, put it in context, put it in perspective, and let them know. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Knowledge exchange is important?
Yeah, knowledge exchange is very important. I'll answer that one with a yes. And I will answer a question by just narrating a story, one area that I've been thinking of that we could share knowledge and it will impact our people back home. And I'll start by telling a story. So I went to my one friend in Jackie, he was a businessman. And he had some small cash. And he told me the story of the child that had graduated from the University of Melbourne. And he told me of his child that graduated from the University of Wirfon and was doing nothing at home. And this child has graduated with very good grades. Then I told him that, well, why can you not explore the possibilities of sending this child out to study in Europe? And the man, we were sitting and drinking our beer, the man almost fell off his chair. Say, wait, do I start? I said, hold on a minute. Say, let me explain. Then when I started talking, I said, no, this thing like this, we'll start by getting admission. Then after admission, I was hesitant to say it's how you manage a bank statement of 6 million. He was the one who told me that only 6 million. So this is somebody who had the needs, but never had the knowledge. I counseled him and got admission for the child in Belgium. And the rest is history. The child came to Belgium and that his life changed completely. So I started looking at the area of counseling and orientation. I've been doing that on a personal basis, sharing knowledge when I meet any friend. I could discuss, I ask about children that are what level, what are you thinking about them. And I've helped quite a few who are already in Europe, some are in America. So I was just thinking of that area of orientation and counseling. Then another thing that is popping up, that on the counseling side, and what we can advise my parents back home. I work in oil and gas, and everybody knows that there's money there, so they just think of, if the child does petroleum engineering, okay, you enter into oil and gas and have a lot of money. Not knowing that there are some other trades. If you do only petroleum engineering, and the market fails and you cannot work in petroleum engineering, you'll be out in the cold. And then there are so many mushroom schools that have popped up in Cameroon, offering petroleum that parents go and spend millions and millions and the children come out, they cannot be employed. So if we can formalize this counseling and orientation, as of now, SODA back home has formed committees, and one of them is an education committee, which I'm a member, and we are lobbying people who want to create a network of people back home and people in Europe who can assist, spread the information, assist with admission when time comes. And the people back home will go to Njong houses and Chong houses and giving this information back to our parents so that we can be able to help them, those who are able to. So that's something practical that we can do. Thank you very much.
So you see, by actually speaking, we get to discover many other areas that we can invest our time to build our communities. And the one thing I would like to make clear is that the knowledge exchange or the skills or talent exchange is not a one-way thing. It's not one way. This is us thinking out of the box what we can do, if it is necessary, how do we go about it? So it's like taking a step back from all what has been done so far. We are going out to look at it again with another let's say another eye. What is this, when we talk about knowledge exchange, what knowledge are we trying to exchange? What skills? We have listened to our brothers today, but we can also look at other areas, like Shedama is talking about counseling. I think if you're going to give counseling, for example, who can organize a counseling workshop during Ngonzo to give talks? In that scenario, you are not asking the people for, you're coming to give them advice, but you have to listen because it has to be tailored to what the person needs, to what they need. So I want us to also be, when you're giving your answer, the second part of the questions, let's all think about if you had to go out of the box to take another look at it, what will you do and what will you recommend? So if all of us, I've listened to all of you and I see that we've all agreed that to an extent, the knowledge and skills exchange is very important. All of us can agree on that to an extent, but it's varying from different areas. It's not only a give. Let's not think that we are going to, we have it all, we are going to impose on the people. No. So knowing that we all are interested in this knowledge and skills exchange between us here and those in the diaspora, how do you, when and how can we do this? Like you've talked of counseling, which is very, very important. When can we do it? In what scenarios? We need ideas because we will take some points to see if we can brainstorm on it after that. So it's not like limiting ourselves to what has already been done, but it's to give ideas so we can, after this, we can sit down, brainstorm, and then look for a way forward. So if it is necessary, how and when do you think these things can take place? And how do you think they can be measured? How can you measure that these actions that you're taking are making an impact?
When and how, to me, it could be through formal channels and informal. Personally, I'll go informal. Okay, we go home every now and then. And in one of your trips, it could just be something you could do. We can use our church groups. You know how, religious our parents are. We can use our church groups, we can use the community, we've got our little community meetings and things. And simple things, very simple things. Now I'm drifting away from the very high, but we need to start from the simple things. Hygiene for girls. You get all the women together, you tell them about hygiene for their kids. Teenagers, what they're expecting to see. That's just an example. And how they should go about it. You see, in a church group, everybody's going to listen to you. They will come and listen to you. That's just the basic. But there are other formal channels, as Shay mentioned. Like Nsoland. Yes. Where you can go through and talk about all these other. But I believe in going down from the roots, because not everybody would be able to attend that formal. You see, so where you are from, where you are sitting, it doesn't matter whether it's in Chi or wherever. You can just bring your people together and share what you've got. Yeah, that's my view. Yes.
I mean, I looked at this a while back, and when the idea came on about talking today, I have a very strong feeling about it, where I feel passionately that we all here in this room have different skills, and we cannot all unify them to give them back home and share back home. But if we coordinate them well, we can be able to share every single thing that we have here. I think I'm from a medical background, somebody else will be from IT background. But if we have teachers, we have people that are into IT, we have every single area that we have here. We haven't sought that on the ground. And we have other groups that are on the ground back home. We have the churches and we have everywhere else back home. If we had all these together, there will be never a time that we'll all decide and go and host a convention back home. It will be very hard. But if we had a time, we go home quite regularly. If you have, for example, somebody that is a medical doctor who is trained in pediatrics or childbirth, who is having to make a journey to Cameroon, private journey to Cameroon, and we are all coordinated in a way. We already have the doctors in Cameroon that are there, and we're exchanging already ideas. We link this person to the hospitals of our own connection already that we have back home. And this very person on their holiday chooses and take 1 or 2 days to spend in the hospital. First, they will identify the problems that we have back home. They will also learn how tropical medicine is managed. And they'll also learn a lot while they are there and share a lot with them while they are there. They can organize conferences while they are there. If we have an IT specialist going back home, we can get it tailored so that they visit the computer labs when they are created and look at what they have there that they don't have here and interchange ideas on that basis. If I'm going home and I know where my specialty is, we coordinate through a group where we have like the Pro Forum group today, we already have the ideas. We get all the people here linked with your career and linked with what you can offer. So that when you are going, it is put out in the team that we have up there now. If we already have a team out there that's doing the research, it's linked up there. You are going on your special advice, on your special journey, and you pick up on that. My idea was so powerful then. But then, and then we are going with the ideas, not to give the ideas, but to saying we are coming to share. And what fails us in most circumstances that I find, what fails us is the idea that we go home and in some circumstances we raise ourselves so high that we don't even land. We raise ourselves so high that we don't even land. That you will find somebody who is, not being derogatory, but for example, you find somebody who is living in Turkey, arrives home and is rapping American English that nobody else can understand. Already you place yourself in a situation where nobody wants to approach, stand there and say, Lambara Obama. But they have no idea what you're talking about.
Please, I'll be listening to Ilyas. If possible, if Shedama has something else to say, then we will throw the question to the floor.
So the little thing I would like to add, listening to Reverend and Yaya, is that it's very, very important that we should have a starting point, where to start meeting the people. And as Yaya said, it is vital we start from the basic units in the family. Start with your own family. If you happen to go home, as Reverend is saying, in your private trip, and you can organize your own family, as Yaya said, and put them through something, bring them to understand whatever project you want them to handle, that will have an impact more than when you go to the Jackery market and you want to start preaching there. So when you start from the basic unit of your own family, the word would spread faster than you will ever imagine. So please, if we are making our trips, if we have something in common that we want to, start to educate people back at home, let's start from our basic units, our basic families. Because when you convince your own people, they will buy your idea and they will spread it faster than you. Because no matter what we say, these guys out there, they believe so much, with their friends or neighbors around, more than us that will just come once in a while, just come. So they can help you spread the information. And then the next thing I want to say is the level of confidentiality. When you come afresh, you go to community once a year, and you are talking to somebody with big English and big terms, and they will prefer to listen to the neighbor whom they see every day, explaining the same thing you are trying to explain to them in their own language, in the way they will understand, and they will listen to him better than you. So if you pass through them to start to initiate whatever thing you want to initiate, they're going to listen to that person better than you. So let's try to see how we can grow up ourselves and use our basic units to spread the word more than us.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, how do we go about transferring the knowledge back?
I want to tell you.
There's the formal and the informal, as Yaya said. You can start from the small sector. What I do personally is, when I go home, I'm always in one job house or the other. So when I go there, after taking a few cups, I stand up, I greet the people, and then I introduce who I am, where I live, and then I just bring it up. So if by any case somebody has a child here that is graduating from A-levels or uni and thinking of sending the child out, contact me and I may be able to help. So that's how I do it. Then we also have formal channels, like we want to create a formal channel now through Nsoland. And we also, Banning UK has been running a charity called We Give Back, which they actually launched in Stuttgart in one of our conventions. And that was it was only in the health sector, and the idea was that we will expand it. Because what they do is they raise funds, take some doctors back home, and then they do screening, or they do free consultation basically. So we're thinking that we could, the plan was to move to other sectors, maybe education and all other sectors, so that if you go home, if you're a teacher, you can sacrifice maybe 2 or 3 days and go and teach in the school. If you're a doctor, you go to a hospital and spend some time there. And they were also thinking of moving from only outreach consultation to organizing seminars to educate the doctors back home. Then we also have the Scam Doc in the UK. What they do is they actually go back to Cameroon and lecture in the health faculties. Somebody will sacrifice 3 weeks, go back, teach there for free, and come back. And that's the way of giving back home, and that's how we can extend the knowledge back home.
Thank you very much. So I'm throwing the question to the floor. Do you think knowledge exchange is important? If yes, why? How can we do it, and how can we measure the impact of what we intend to do? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I will stand because I think I prefer when I'm talking to people, I can listen to them and then see their reaction when I'm talking. Like we said, knowledge exchange is very, very important. We have accepted because that is our country, that is our village, and we want to see it develop, and we want to enjoy in that place the same way we are enjoying here. We've seen facilities we're living in Europe, and we are privileged to live here. And we know back at home how difficult life is with our people back at home. And we want to see that even when we retire, like Eric said, and you go back home, you want to live a comfortable life. And are you able to live that comfortable life back at home if you decide to go there today? Is it possible? No. So even we're not going to be gaining anything, because all these things we are doing is like charity. You're sacrificing, because what you get back is always very little. Our brother Shasha has just, if he tells you how he came a long way, he started with this energy thing through Yatrofa, these seeds that he went back home to give to people to grow within their plants, so you could generate energy using plants. He struggled, and he reached a position where that actually he went like a businessman, but at least with the intention of making some money at the same time educating his people. Before he moved to this solar energy thing, he had gone a long way. And you can see that some people actually have passion to see our village grow so much. And we are ready to sacrifice. Now we have ideas, we have knowledge, we want to transfer it. How is it possible to transfer that knowledge to our people? It is very, very difficult. You know how difficult it is when it comes to, Cameroon government is one of the government that helps to tax a lot. When you want to do business in Cameroon, the tax that they will give to you will be more than the profit that you make from that business. They even help to discourage you. Foreign investors are not encouraged. They want to try to protect their own small primary businesses in Cameroon. Businesses that are existing that cannot even create anything. You're trying to be innovative. You think something good and you want to take it back to your village. But there are a lot of difficulties, there are a lot of challenges, there are a lot of problems. There are a lot of hills and mountains that you have to bring down to be able to see that particular project that you have implemented at home. So the only way that we can help, that we can succeed to do this, by doing it, it is not possible for all of us, NFU, banning to carry ourselves back to Cameroon to see how we can help our people. We can do it collectively, we can do it individually. The only way we can succeed, it lies in us. Those doctors that you see go home and conduct, do checkups and things like that, they do it, they offer it to do it, they pay their flight tickets and then pinch some small time from what they are supposed to be at home. Maybe they are supposed to be at home for 3 weeks and they will do some 3 days and do that and be on the side and help. The only way you can do it in such a way that nobody will point a finger at you. Some people feel maybe you are making some money from it. No. Some people think that some charity groups have given you money to bring home, to come and give to your people, and that you have just kept some of the money, and you have taken a little bit of that money, and now you are helping your people with it. They have different ideas about what you're doing there. They don't actually think that you are helping them. Some people even go to discourage them from going, that they have given them 50,000 and they have come here and they are spending 12,000. If you know what is behind, you will be so discouraged. So, like, we have our Windsor Give Back Foundation, and like Shay has explained, we're deciding that if we go home, we will have an opportunity to go to schools, maybe do this basic life support, train some few people, and then with the hope that tomorrow, if something happened in the school and the child is found on the floor, unresponsive, they will know what to do. And those things will be done by, if I'm traveling to Cameroon and I buy my flight ticket, I know that I'm going to spend 1 month in Cameroon. Even if I'm going to go to the next secondary school and gather a few people and tell the principal, I've come to this school today, this is what I'm aiming to do. Even if it is a sanitary prefect, whoever is ready, or some few teachers, I will teach them how to perform basic life support. And then with the hope that if something happens, they can even teach other classes. So you don't need to say it to everybody, you don't need to explain it to everybody. You just need to pin out some few smart children in school. Even if it is a senior prefect, whoever is ready, give that person that information, train them, give them the small training that you have, with the hope that tomorrow they might be able to teach other classes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I think it's very important to help, and it's very important to take and give back. And I think we have to do it in back. I don't know whether it's important, but I'm thinking of a self-help where the people you are helping are at the center of what you are doing. Because like Yaya said, any project that you don't carry out a survey of what the people want is going to fail. Because when we come from the side of knowing all and wanting to give, it becomes very difficult. You have to carry out a field study of how the people do their own thing, and make sure that you choose the people to function, to lead. And when you choose, it means that you have done the research yourself on how well the people can carry out a project, and they should do it their own way. Then it will be really encouraging, and they will learn in doing any project. That's where I was just trying to contribute. It's called self-help, where somebody or a village or people you are involved are at the center of any project. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the floor? Thank you very much. No? No? So,
sorry, just to add a bit to that, I think when we talk about the exchange, there is aspects about exchanging knowledge or skills that is very important, which goes back to understanding the people, trying to sell what you want to bring back to them. So you have to understand that usually there will be aspects of conflict. So you need to try and get a team that will be able to sell what you want to give. That way people are interested in and they'll be more receptive. So that way, whatever you want to give back is received in
like a two-way. Thank you very much. I was just going to make a conclusion regarding conflict management. I work in European Bank, and I was selected as one of those to go to Uganda to teach. We built a school. My bank donated a school in Uganda. So I was one of those selected to go down there. And when I was in the team, we were 12 of us. We had 2 leaders. So the most important to this team was building a team that was going to do the problem solving or the conflict resolution. That was when you put us in a hierarchy, the problem solving sessions where those watching, they were like our supervisors watching everybody to make sure that there was no conflict between not that there was no conflict, that they were able to mediate when it came to areas of differences between the locals and what we were trying to pass down to the people. So it's really, really important to make sure that we pay attention to conflict management, especially when it comes to giving back. Yes?
I was just trying to make just to make a suggestion concerning how we could link up Europe and, well, I'll call it Cameroon. You know, I think we have so many title holders here. And to be honest, I'm not one of them. But I believe most of them have so much influence when they go back home. We have seen our traditional cultural activities that go on home. We see how influential some of them are. And most of them do visit those boat houses, jangis, and whatever. And most of them who are here, you always go back home. And the same reception that you have here as traditional title holders, I believe the influence you have here, when you go home, you can connect. You can work together with those traditional rulers or show fires and chains. I think this is the time that we can make use of those title holders, not only using them here to move around, but when you go back home, this is the point. When you go home, those titles, those yas, not only coming around banning gangs on food. I think this is the opportunity you can use them as as a bridge to pass information back home, because they will listen to you more than, for instance, if I go to Cameroon or to Bangkok, I'm not a title holder. Well, I could be, I don't know, So I think it is an opportunity that we can use some of our title holders now as a link to get information back home and let them form subcommittees home, and then we can start forming a network, because you cannot network without communities. Just networking on the air doesn't make sense. I think it would make sense if those of you who are here, who are in position, like Shea for instance, he has a lot of influence back home. If you go home, rally them, sit them together, and form small committees. We're not paying them, we're giving them small tips. We need to spend some money in order to get something. So I think that's my contribution, just working together.
Thank you very much. We are running out of time, and we have to do the magazine launch. Please, 1 minute, just so that we can continue. Thank you very much. You can take your seat.
I was thinking, normally where we come from, because I believe that some of us, before we came here, we have a different view of life and of doing things. And we came here, it was kind of different for us, and with time we became used to it. And it's the same thing back home. When you go home, you're trying to share the ideas you got from here back home. And most of the older people, they still have a culture, and your ideas are still kind of strange to them. So I believe that in order to pass through this information, it's easier to go through schools, the youths, because they are kind of open to the world, to social media and everything. So they can easily understand where you're coming from. So, and through the youths now, they can also easily pass this information to the older ones. But I believe that it is more convenient through the youth than through the elders, because the elders will always think like you're trying to sabotage culture and some type of things. So I just believe that you can organize like football matches. They're gonna come. You can organize, you can just organize some things for the youth and they'll come, and then you can have a talk with them. And you can go to the schools through the prefect, the social prefects, and all as a hierarchy, as you said. The principal can call them and they can go from class to class or general assembly. And you can talk to them and give them some of these ideas you got from here. So I just believe.
Very, 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 very good point. Very good point. Thank you very much. In as much as we will use the title holders, I think if you want to push it forward, you use the youth. Because it will go out faster than you expected. So we are going to move to the last part of this program, which is the magazine launch. As you all know, this year, the project team went crazy. We decided that there was going to be a full professional forum, and here it is. And I'm hoping that you guys have learned, all of us have learned, and that we are hoping that the next one should be better. This is an experimental phase, and we are hoping that the next one will be better organized, and everybody will respect time, and none of us will be laughing and taking selfies during the professional forum. Okay, let me call on Banjika to come and handle the magazine launch. Special thanks to all those who dedicated time to send out articles to the magazine. It's not been an easy work. Michelle, before I give Banjika the floor, I want you to give him a big round of applause. As dedicated as this. I can assure you that the earliest time he sleeps is 4 a.m. I can tell you that.
God bless you.
So in short, you have this organization is blessed to have somebody like this.
Yes.
So
Thank you very much. That was really heavy, but okay, I was not expecting that great. But thanks for that. I'll just go straight to our magazine. This was a dream or something I thought when we were going to Brussels, but when it came to my mind, the time was just too short. And I have never done a magazine design or layout before. But I like playing a lot with software, so I come across some software to do that. So I said, okay, I'll try to see how it goes after Brussels. And when I started, I did a few samples and I realized that it can really work if I just put in some more extra hours. Then we went around trying to ask people to get articles, but the limitation was since people did not really know what it was, they didn't really come up on board immediately. But the majority who started contributing, I think, are people who really believe in the food project. So when they hear that there is an food magazine, they don't know what it will be. They don't know whether it will be a piece of paper or some folder. They sent in articles. And right in June, I was contemplating whether I should go ahead because the few articles had come in. Some local chapters were not responding to right as I expected. And in the NCC meeting of June, I was thinking, okay, maybe I postpone it. But then people had, in the survey, I already had about 48 people indicating that they want the magazine, still not knowing what it was. So I really thank those 48 because just like last year, I did not want to disappoint that we promised magazines and we didn't have. So with those 48, I was thinking I'll do whatever I can. But while doing that, then some more articles came in. I will talk about the theme of this magazine. Where just very few people, when I reached out to Pamela Bonkinyun, I know she had done, I once saw her did a program on VOA, so I knew she had some concept of maybe how things like this can go. She immediately jumped on board. She was ready, and I said, okay, you can be the content manager. Let me just deal with just the technical aspect. I don't have time to read all that stuff. So she came in, and then Matthias volunteered, Matthias from Antwerp, to be one of the editors. So I was working a lot with the design, and luckily my niece came in because I had a pile of magazines sitting, and I always had to flip like, should I do this? So she was always assisting me, like, try this, and out of a sudden when so when I finished the magazine, and since I was not so sure, I sent it for print, and I did pay extra to have some professional checkup, and they called me back, they will complain, this is not right, this is not right. And time was going, I couldn't have the print before time. So at some point, they were complaining about the quality. And after 2 days, I told them, like, okay, go ahead and print. If it's bad, okay, let me lose. But if it comes good, so I was having my fingers till the print came. And when I looked at it, I was like, if you really had something better than this, then I'm really surprised. So the Full Europe magazine is here, and this is the Kimbo issue. You will know what Kimbo stands because I started reading people complaining why Kimbo. But this is just the Full Europe magazine. It is not for the people in Kimbo only or for the people in Kumbo. It is just a Kimbo issue, just like you can have the January, February, March issue. But you know why it is a Kimbo issue when you read the editorial that was written by Pamela here. So unfortunately, Pamela could not make it here. So Lady T, who has been championing the Full Europe project, because this falls under the project committee, she's going to sign the very first few copies here. I will hand them, each copy is 10 euro, and believe me, I'll pass a sample around for you to see, but then if you are interested, I can show all of you will be interested. So Lady T will sign the first few copies here for those who are ready to pick them up here. But then the few limited copies we have will be sold at the field. So thank you very much. I think I don't want to push on that.